The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, guys, this has been the level for the past, what it seems like 2 weeks. It's been your 19.69, 19.7 range on Nasdaq rejections. You can see the levels. The expectation was if we mount this level, then we can go long, then tech is bullish. That's what we wanted to see. Well, what happened? You come into the market. We come into yesterday. Market was closed here in the United States, so we had some pre-markets yesterday. You came into it. You rejected. The market opens up and it's nothing but downside. You had some key data come out as well, but things aren't looking good. You actually ended up breaking lows from last week as well, and further downside ensued. On the other side of that, you have the S&P 500. You were sitting in your same range you've been sticking in, as you can see here, but guess what? Things have now changed. You broke below, broke down to 550, the level we've talked about here. Ultimately, you wanted to see the break and retest of 564 to push up to all-time highs, but that did not happen. You actually had the fake out, which was pretty beautiful. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not even a bear. I wasn't a bear. But guess what, guys? I was wrong. Bias was wrong here, but we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. You had your double bottom. You broke the neckline to break up, and you rejected right back down. But I want to talk a little bit about that specifically, about having bias in the market, right? Few things here. This is why I'm so adamant about key levels. Specifically, let's talk about Nasdaq, trading tech. You know, we had Dow and SPY looking pretty decent. Nasdaq looked the worst. But this is a great example of why you have these levels, right? We said countless times, you can't get too bullish until you break that level. We said it over and over and over, and that was your confirmation, and you just rejected. So even though, biasly, I was looking at the market, I was waiting to get bullish, waiting to try to break out, things like that. Worst case scenario, I missed out on some opportunities on the downside. Best case scenario, we broke above, played out to the upside. But again, this is why you're patient here, right? Now, still along those lines, this is to encourage you guys as well, right? Even when you don't have, crazy setups, or you don't catch the top. You don't need to catch the top all the time. You need to make sure that you're winning majority of the time, right? This is a breakdown of the past just today. Even though we wanted to trade the upside, number one, trading AMD to the downside, shorting once we noticed that bears were in control. Below 144.5, went short all the way down to 141, actually broke 138. The next trade, Jay shorted NVIDIA under 112. Again, another big play there, dropped down to 108. We shorted Tesla below 215, went down to 210, 211. Again, we even had an upside play we were looking for, but just didn't play out. Eli Lilly, but the other one did play out with UNH. But that just goes to show, guys, when you're stepping into the market, you have to have an overall plan. You can have what you want to happen, what you would like to imagine to happen. And again, my bias, what I wanted was upside. But I stepped into the market and I waited for exactly the best opportunity specifically for myself. And that's what you have to understand when you're looking at this market every day. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're looking at right now. Obviously, we're red. We look at the heat map. I mean, red across the board. NVIDIA semiconductors, very red. After hours, you have a subpoena from the government as well for antitrust. So that's no buenos, no nachos there. Rest of the market ultimately not doing that well. Healthcare, probably your best overall sector on the day. So we look at the Nasdaq. Again, big levels we've been talking about. We were looking for that push down to 19K. If you started breaking back down, you came right into it. You basically sat there. Tomorrow, really simple chart, guys. Keep this, all you got to look at here. I'll have it posted on Twitter as well, so follow on there. Want that break, the retest, and continuation. I'm looking back for that 200 SMA. If we start seeing sellers step back in the market near 18.5, 18.6 locally, that's what you're looking for there. Going into S&P, what are you looking for here? If you start breaking below 550, very similar, very easy chart to identify. Not the 200, but you're looking for the break and retest of 550 and a push down towards 544, 545. Going to Dow, you even saw Dow sell off, right? It's been one of your hottest names here. Selling off, you're looking for 40,700, that little previous high you had back here on April 9th. Again, very important to understand what's happening ultimately across the market. You go into the calendar on the day, you had ISM manufacturing data. And again, we'll talk a little bit about this in a sec, but ultimately not good for Dow and the rest of the markets. Tomorrow, you have job openings opening up at 9 a.m., 30 minutes after market open. So make sure you're looking at that and the Atlanta Fed GDP now. Also, your beige book. Despite the data coming out and pulling us down in the short term, again, you have to have the anticipation of what the Fed and how the Fed is going to interpret this. Just saying. Again, we've seen this story. The market pull back. The market, not like the data that comes out, or indirectly not like the data, even though it's what the Fed wants to happen. But then the Fed reassures everyone, hey, we're going to cut. Hey, we're doing this for the market. We're easing, etc. So again, my outlook going into October and November really has not changed. But I will say again, one of the warnings here was September is historically the worst month for the market. So hitting the brakes, letting off the gas a little bit, as of now, especially on the buy side, is most likely the play. I will say, though, I think you're setting up for fantastic buying opportunities. We flash back to, August, right? We look at NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA dropping here. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to end up buying a lot of NVIDIA. But, you drop down to $100 to $97. You say, go buy 2026 options calls. That's what I ended up getting. Those went up 50% when you went back up to 131. 50% on your 2-year out contracts, leveraging basically stock. Apple, another interesting name here. I'll be looking to buy more Apple. You dropped down to 198, went back up to 232. Now, are all of them going to be perfect stories? No, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to get these opportunities, and these dips. That's how I look at them, right? I make my money, day trading, but you make a bulk of your money on those swing trades. So have a plan here. Know which names you're going to be looking for on this dip and all the dips going forward, right? Don't just go into this market and say, okay, we're bearish and this is bad news. This is going to happen. Oh, no, it can't be buying no more. The market's over. No, I don't think the market's over. No, I don't think a massive recession's coming. I'm telling you that right now. But I'm telling you, looking at this market, you got to be paying attention to the names that you like. Robinhood, another one of those big names, like right back into our key level. Last time we mentioned Upstart. It was way down here, like at $30 when we mentioned it during August. Affirm, another one of those big names. It was at 31.5 a few days ago. You jumped up to 44, right? Everyone wants these plays. Everyone wants to find, the next big play. But this is when you find them. You find your strong names and you find the pullback to where they're going into. And I'll be going over those a lot over the next few days, but I just want people to really be aware, right? That's the whole point of this, is hopefully people get a little bit of knowledge. You can make some money in the market, get a little bit of opportunity out there, okay? Okay, so first thing, let's go over what's happening here as well. Get broad markets pulling back. I'm not looking to obviously be buying too heavy right now unless buyers show back up. Okay, that's what I was saying. 19.7 had a break to really get bullish. Obviously, we're breaking below 19K, so that's worrisome. But I do want to give a shout out to Mumu, the sponsor of this channel. If you guys are looking for a broker to day trade with, anything to do with options, they provide a lot of free tools as well. Unusual options activity on their broker. Obviously, you can go look at your chain, what you're trading there, but your unusual option activity, your option analysis, it goes very in-depth, very simple, easy to use. So make sure you're taking advantage of this, guys. The link is down below. You get a bunch of free stocks as well, so you can check them out when you make qualified deposits. But again, it's there for you. We're going to go over a few names really quick. I got to get out of here. Got to do some stuff for the baby today. But really quickly, let's jump into this. Tesla, one of my favorite names to be trading here, actually, especially on the downside right now. Something I tweeted out earlier. Again, if you're not following on Twitter, I recommend doing so. It's always there for you. So Tesla, I tweeted out one of the easiest trades. Under 215, you go short. Over 225, 226, you go long. Don't trade the chop. Again, this was early in the day. You ended up at 9:05 after our first trade of it. You zoom back in here, you can actually see for the better part of the day, you rejected off that level, then eventually dumped once again, but all the way down to 210 after that, dropping more in the after hours. Have your targets, have your levels, have a trade plan, guys. I still like Tesla to the downside. If you hold below 211, I'm targeting back into the 200 SMA near 203, 204. I don't got to go too heavy into these options either, but I'll just tell you right now, like, you have some good opportunities, some good setups here. Trade what you want. I like a week out if I'm day trading Tesla, to be honest. 205s are moving great. 210s are moving good. Those are some of the best positions in my opinion. Just to let you know that as well. Also, too, guys, giving you a little bit of a heads up. We do have a few spots left in Discord, letting you know right now, so make sure you check it out. The link is down below if you're interested. Going back into this, AMD, another one of my favorite downside names. I always talk about sympathy plays to, tech or semiconductors. Jay went short on NVIDIA, but I think obviously AMD was the big money play here on the day. I had a few runners, thank God, but I didn't hold all of them, obviously. You started breaking below 141. You started cleaning up shop all the way down to 134, 133. You start breaking below 132.9, this thing could get ugly down to 109. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or anything like that, but again, below that level, you are very bearish on this name, and at least coming back down to 122, in my opinion. Another big name here is Snow. Again, I'm looking at a lot of these weak names. So really quick, let's actually get rid of all these drawings so you can see. Again, you're at all-time lows basically as we speak. I'm looking at just at a few of these right now. I've already shorted this a few times, but I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what I'm looking at. And I think Snow could get really ugly really fast. So you're seeing Snowflake break back below these previous all-time lows, holding below 110.6. I think this thing breaks back down into all-time lows, 107, 108, and could get hit really hard, really fast. So make sure you're paying attention there. Another big name on the downside here is Microsoft. I'm a big fan of Microsoft, but if you're operating below your 200 SMA, you know how I feel about that, guys. This could get ugly. It could get ugly very fast. Looking for a probable push down to $400, very likely. But I will say there's a few little targets on the way there. There's a little level right there, and then again, probably down to 400 from there. So short term, looking at this, get below your 408.6 level. You can see you held right there. Pretty, hilarious that we're holding these levels. I don't even know when I put them there. Break, retest, continuation back down to 404.6. Good opportunities across the board. Your big sign here, though, I'm going to let you know right now, broad based on the market, is Nasdaq below 19K. Nasdaq below 19K is bad news bears. You have a few little levels on the way down, like 18.7, but I'm really going to be targeting the 200 SMA here again. You got there in a hurry last time once you broke below 19K, as you can see here. Once you really broke and held, it was quick, it was fast, it was violent. And that's exactly what I'm looking for here again. You can see not a lot of liquidity. There's no reason for me to overcomplicate this stuff for you guys. Again, your POC, point of control, volume profile is all the way down here at 18.5. You guys, it's sometimes that simple. So again, that's what I'm looking at right now. No reason to overcomplicate it, liking the downside from this point. But I'm going to tell you right now, I still believe the Fed is still going to push the narrative of rate cuts, easing, and trying to help out. Again, their agenda now is going to be to make sure that they're not too late and they don't push the market into some unnecessary pain, which they might have already done. But we'll see how they can get there and weasel their way out of this position. So that's what I'm looking at right now. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.